From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.97 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,220 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,562. Antiwar.com reports Central Command says that U.S. forces and the Kurdish YPG have made small breaches in the internal wall surrounding Raqqa's old city and are aiming to use these breaches to infiltrate the area while avoiding large numbers of booby traps and snipers as much as possible. The Islamic State continues to resist the advance into Raqqa heavily, and while this move to punch holes in the wall may get some forces into the old city, the notion that they'll actually be able to avoid the bulk of the snipers is unlikely, and at best they're delaying the confrontation. While officials had predicted that the Islamic State morale would plummet as the battles in Raqqa and Mosul turned against them, the U.S. has repeatedly and publicly insisted their strategy is one of outright extermination with no survivors. This strategy is likely motivating the Islamic State forces to continue to resist to the end. Since the U.S. apparently is accepting no surrender and taking no prisoners, they clearly don't see any option but to keep fighting. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Maine and New Jersey reached budget agreements ending government shutdowns of non-emergency functions early Tuesday. Both governors signed measures on the 4th of July that halted impasses and three-day government closures. In New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie signed an agreement early Tuesday. Late Monday, the state assembly passed the fiscal year 2018 budget by a vote of 53 to 23 with one abstention, and the state Senate quickly voted 21 to 14 to send the proposal to Christie. The agreement meant state parks and beaches reopened in time for the holiday, as well as all state government offices being open on Wednesday. In Maine, Governor Paul LePage signed a new budget Tuesday morning. LePage declared a state of civil emergency on Friday in the absence of an approved biennial budget by the state legislature. The civil emergency began Saturday after the Maine legislature failed to pass a budget the day before. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 is a nightmare to the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411, because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Get it today at getcell411.com. Reuters reports federal prosecutors on Monday asked a judge for a gag order muzzling former drug company executive Martin Shkreli on trial for securities fraud charges, arguing that his statements to media could taint the jury and disrupt the case. Shkreli's attorney, Benjamin Brafman, asked the judge to reject the request on the grounds that his client had a First Amendment right to speak freely. Attorneys for the U.S. government told U.S. Judge Kiyo Matsumoto in a letter on Monday that Shkreli last week told reporters outside the court that an alleged victim of his was not actually a victim because she made money from his investments. Prosecutors said he also directly spoke on camera to a journalist and appeared to be commenting on the case on social media using the Twitter handle @BLMBro. Brafman said Shkreli was in a delicate emotional state and believed the press focuses unfairly on some of his negative characteristics. Brafman wrote in a court filing, "His comments are the somewhat natural, though unfortunate consequence of a young man with a demonstrated history of significant anxiety being at the center of a supremely difficult time in his life." Dubbed the Pharma Bro, Shkreli gained notoriety for raising the price of a life-saving drug by 5,000%. The charges he faces stem from his management of pharmaceutical company Retrofin Incorporated and the hedge fund MSMB Capital Management from 2009 to 2014. Prosecutors have claimed that Shkreli engaged in a Ponzi-like scheme in which he defrauded investors in MSMB and took $11 million in assets from Retrofin to pay them. Shkreli has pled not guilty to charges that include securities fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Federal prosecutors have asked the judge to sequester the jury in the event that the court does not issue the gag order. Prosecutors also wrote that Shkreli on YouTube has identified himself as BLM Bro. The BLM Bro Twitter account has posted stories critical of witnesses and evidence in the trial. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.